and the guy we all have been waiting for. We've been reading, he's back, and finally he is back. Mr. Arvind Swamy. Ladies and gentlemen, can we have a big round of applause, please? Sir. So completely over to you guys. Please ask whatever you feel like.
Well, I didn't look at it as a comeback per se and plan it like that. But the script was interesting to me. It was actually, it had something that was that put me out of my comfort zone in a sense, and I thought therefore it would be challenging, and I wanted to do this.
Did you prepare for this role, or did you draw upon your experiences as a father for this?
I just did the general preparation that I normally do with every film, which is to question, the lines that the character says, or the way he reacts or responds, etc. And then you start building a framework, and then you act within that. So just my regular process of how I prepare for a role is how I prepared.
Last question from me. What was the reason for keeping away for 15 years from Hindi cinema?
Not Hindi. I didn't act in any movie in any language for the last, I think from 2000 was my last film with Mr. Mani Ratnam. After that, I didn't. I had quit films because I wanted to do other things. I had started out very early at 20 when I did Talabadi, and 21 when I did Roja. And I thought, I didn't want to get just caught within this one profession. I wanted to experience other things. I had other ideas. I wanted to do other businesses. So I just went ahead and explored all that. And about maybe 3 years back, Mr. Mani Ratnam had wanted me to come back and do a film called Kadal in Tamil, for which I came back. Till then, I didn't act not just in Hindi but in any other language.
Hindi version, or there's a Tamil version also? And number two is, what difference do you find in your two different innings? The earlier innings and the current innings, where you are in a different kind of avatar?
The first part, which is it's just a Hindi film. We didn't do it in any other language. There's a lot of change, of course. Time brings about change, including in me. It brings about it's brought about a lot of change in the way the audience in itself. It's the next generation of film goers who are watching it than when they were watching it in the 90s. This audience is more receptive to new ideas. They've already had a lot of visual experiences in terms of the internet, or an exposure to world cinema in a sense. I believe that they're more receptive to new concepts and new ideas, and they don't want the conventional movie structure that we've been having since those days.
सवाल ये है कि are you in touch with your Bollywood colleagues? You have 2 days time, so are you gonna meet anybody in these 48 hours?
Did I meet somebody now in the last, since I came here, you're saying?
Yeah.
I met Mr. Anupam Kher. We just happened to meet yesterday. But I'm actually a pretty solitary person in that sense that I don't have many friends within or outside the industry. I just keep to myself. So
Do you watch any Hindi film in last 3, 4, 5 years, or any particular film, any particular actor?
I don't watch too many films in any language, in Tamil, English or Hindi, but I have watched a few.
So what was the specific reason behind not doing movies in last 10, 12, 15 years?
To me personally, this is not the only thing that I want to do in my life. I want to do other things as well. So I had some ideas on certain businesses, some technology, some applications. So I was doing that in different parts of the world. Then I wanted to be a full-time parent and balance my life and time with my kids. So that happened. So for about 10 years, my primary thing was just to raise my kids. I play a lot of video games online, so a lot of my time goes in that as well. And I also do movies.
So now when you see those shots between 2 mountains, you are sitting and Roja Janeman and Hamma Hamma and Kuchi Kuchi Rakma, what क्या feel करते हैं? How you feel all those shots while doing on seeing now?
Well, I can still appreciate those shots. That's the good part of doing some films. I think even after 20 years, you can still see and enjoy those films, or at least most parts of it. So, I'm just look back. I'm happy that I did those films.
कोई ना कोई तो सॉलिड रीज़न रहा होगा फिल्म में वापस आने का या हिंदी फिल्म करने का, तो मैं जानना चाहूँगी कि डियर डैड आपके लिए क्या है। और
नहीं, ऐसे तो मैं प्लान नहीं करता हूँ कि मैं हिंदी फिल्म करूँ या तमिल में करूँ। मुझे सिर्फ अगर एक स्क्रिप्ट अच्छा लगता है तो मैं आई जस्ट एक्सेप्ट दैट. Sorry, that's as much Hindi as I can. I will be sitting here all evening if I keep talking.
Okay with it.
So, you know, there was when you watch the film, you'll know that there was something that was pretty complex about the story and the situation that these characters are in. And like I told the gentleman before, I was extremely out of my comfort zone when I read that. To a point where I didn't know whether I wanted to do it. Then it made me realize that because I'm so out of my comfort zone, I need to do it, because I think that is where the challenge for an actor is, to be out of his or her comfort zone. Otherwise it becomes the easy thing that happens. So right now, like someone said, my second innings, if you can call that, even in Tamil, for example, I'm picking up scripts and roles that are that maybe people don't expect out of me, that maybe I'm not 100% confident that I can do as an actor, and therefore that quest for trying to be convincing in that role makes the whole process for me more interesting.
जी, एक और सवाल था, पिता और बेटे के बीच रिश्ते की बात करती है ये फिल्म, तो आप अपने निजी ज़िंदगी में अपने पिता के साथ किस तरह का रिश्ता रहा है, और कोई ऐसी चीज़ जो आप चेरिश करते हैं और हमसे शेयर कर सकते हैं?
ज़रूर. My father was very strict with me, in a sense that he was not a very approachable parent like how I think I am with my kids. I mean, with me they can joke and they can talk and all that. And I used to go for every parent teachers association meeting for my kids. But I don't remember my father coming even for one PTA meeting or even stepping inside my school. That generation was like that. It was okay. I think now it's more hands-on parenting. To me, my father was very inspirational. He was also involved during the last part of the freedom struggle. So I had a lot of inspirational stories. He was in Calcutta at that time. And then he is a self-made man. He came from a small village down south. But by the time I was growing up, he was one of the very well-known industrialists then. And he came up the hard way. He worked himself up. Had a lot of... so I was brought up with a lot of love and respect for this country and for the freedom that we all have today, etc. So that was my environment, that environment that I grew up in, and it was thanks to him. And this film, just to go back to the thing about, it's not the story of a father and son. I know the relationship deals with these two primary characters, but it's actually, it's like a journey where this man he knows the direction in which he wants to go, and I'm talking very metaphorically at this point in time, but it's a journey that he knows, it's a direction that he knows he wants to go, but he doesn't know the final destination. And during this process, it's about, say, confessions, it's about conflict, it's about seeking understanding. I'm not saying forgiveness, but I'm saying seeking understanding. So, hopefully it moves towards a resolution amongst these characters. It's normally when things like this happen within a family, you don't... there was a line there which said that, I don't care what other people think. What matters to me is, tum mere bare mein kya sochte. So that actually is what happens within families, right? If there's something that goes wrong and you want somebody to understand, you're not concerned then about what other people are thinking about you. It's just that you want the people that you are close to understand your situation or your dilemma or your problem. Or whatever it is. So I think it is that. It's not, it's not a regular father-son kind of a story.
Arvind, hi. Of course, we have seeing you today feels a little nostalgic because we have memories of Bombay and Roja. But of course, here you are with a new film after a long time in a different avatar. Tell me, this film is about a father who is trying to make his kids aware about his orientation, which seems to be the issue. Seems like if you talk about gay characters, then they're out in the closet as far as Bollywood is concerned, and the way it is being tackled now. Was there a slight tennis match in your mind before taking up this particular role? Did it require some sort of convincing?
I'm just going to talk about what's in the trailer at this point in time. In terms of, you're reading too many things into it, which I will not comment on. It is a situation where he seeks an understanding from his family, his son, etc. Like I said, there were some parts of the story and the script which was extremely unusual, but at the same time, I know for a fact that there are people and families in similar situations like how these characters were, and since it put me out of my comfort zone, like I said, it was important for me to do it. Yeah, no, I mean, if you notice, if you look back, since you said, you were nostalgic, I need to go back also to those days. None of those films shared a standard commercial format. In fact, somebody asked me today, why are you playing a dad? So I said, in 93, when I was 22 or 23 years old, I did Bombay, where I was a dad of twins. So I never thought of all these things as images or whatever. And as you all know, like Roja and Bombay were hits across the country. After Bombay, my next film was with a director whom I really respected called Baradan in Malayalam. I did a movie called Devaragam. So I've not been somebody who's, thought of what commercial progression for me as an actor would be, etc. It's important for me to have an experience that I treasure, I value also, and hopefully, take the audience along with me.
जैसा आपने कहा कि मतलब इतनी सारी चीज़ें ऑब्जर्व की जा रही हैं, बहुत सारी चीज़ें हो रही हैं, तो क्या उम्मीद करें कि राइटिंग या डायरेक्शन में भी आप जा सकते हैं आने वाले वक्त में?
Yes, sir. Even in my 20s, I used to keep writing scripts and irritate Mr. Maniratnam with those scripts. So, because he's the one who taught me from the director's line to everything else, along with Mr. Santosh Shivan. So, I used to keep writing storylines and scripts and keep wasting their time in those days, if I look back. So, I've continued that habit. I still write, stories and scripts, and I have a couple ready to shoot, which I may, if as soon as I get time, maybe end of this year, next year, etc.
तमिल सिनेमा या साउथ सिनेमा में बहुत सारा कई हिस्सों में ऐसा हुआ रियलिस्टिक फिल्में बनती रहीं, लेकिन बहुत ज़्यादा मसाला फिल्में ही बनती रहीं. आप एक ऑब्जर्वर के तौर पे कैसे देखते हैं? अगर
Are you telling me that Tamil cinema makes a lot of masala films? And
ज़्यादातर
No, sir. Actually, I feel that there's more progressive cinema happening in Tamil. Not to say that Hindi doesn't. Hindi also, I think, has created a lovely niche market, and you have a lot of films which are, different from the conventional structure. But actually, Tamil has a lot of films that have that come up. And in fact, if you don't have something interesting or different in your film in Tamil cinema today, it's not very readily accepted in a sense.
तनुज, आपके लिए जैसे अगर फिल्में आइडिया माने,
I think you've seen a lot of these dubbed films. The dubbed films are the action films which will normally get dubbed. But there's a ton of films that, like for example, I don't know if you saw Kaka Muttai, which won the national award. So a lot of those kind of films that happen in Tamil cinema, which we are proud of. Sorry, you were asking.
तनुज, एक आइडिया है फिल्म में, तो आपके लिए आइडिया क्या था? और आप इतने यंग हैं, तो क्या आपकी ज़िंदगी से जुड़ा कोई बात है, कोई ऐसी चीज़?
हाँ, ये मैं देहरादून में पढ़ता था. I studied in the Doon school. So from time to time, my father used to drop me from Delhi to Dehradun. So the movie comes from a very personal space. It comes from the time when you are driving together with your father to school, and you can't have that conversation which you want to have with your father, and there are those awkward silences and moments during those things. So this is where the whole idea of the movie came from, and I just elaborated on that, and it worked out.